Watch how hard I hit him up. Break it down, now pick it up. My best life, I live it up. I go hard, I hit him up. Watch how hard I hit him up. Break it down, now pick it up. Big bang, hit him up. Hit him up, hit him up, hit him up. I got answers for the ones who played. Yeah, I do.
Welcome everyone to another great episode of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast, where today we'll be sharing our thoughts and opinions on Week 1 of Fyter Fest. And we'll talk about wrestling news that goes on in the wrestling world. Today, we are joined by Joshy Boy.
What up, guys? It's the Assassin, Josh Danger. Welcome back to another banger episode of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Let's get this underway, boys. Ring the damn bell.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, he's here. We have the Grim Reaper Kyle Riker.
Hey, guys. It's the Grim Reaper Kyle Riker, a.k.a. Shy Shadow 23. Welcome back to another fire episode of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Bellman, ring the freaking bell. Let's get this podcast underwear.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Fyter Fest Week 1, which took place this past Wednesday on TNT, was a great show and for free on TV. So it felt like a pay-per-view watching it.
Right. Yeah, it was free.
So of course, we're going to run down the card. We'll go around and share how we felt about each match. So let's get going.
Let's do this.
Night 1, July 1st. Jurassic Express versus MJF and Wardlow, which Jurassic Express picked up to win. That was a good starting match for Fyter Fest for the first week. And Jurassic Express, on the match I was going for MJF and Wardlow, which I know MJF wouldn't give a shit if he won or not. So that was a good starter match for the show. Josh, how'd you feel?
Well, I personally enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite match in terms of the night one. In terms of night one matches, this wasn't actually one of my favorite matches, but still solid contest. Huge fans of Jurassic Express, one of my favorite tag teams in AEW currently, especially Jungle Boy. He's one of my favorite stars in the wrestling world. He's got a bright future ahead of him as a single star, not just as a tag team competitor. But overall, the match was a solid match. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I wanted MJF and Wardlow to win, but I'm surprised Jurassic Express got the win. But overall, solid match to start off the show.
All right. Also, I forgot to mention, we're all wearing hats today. So today is a hat episode.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, Kyle, you go.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I did not watch the show because I was busy a little bit, but I did see all the highlights and the results online, obviously. And just like Josh mentioned, I was surprised that MJF's team lost, but I was happy with the result either way because I'm a fan of both teams. Would I like to see the MJF win? Yeah, but I'm glad that Jurassic Express won.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And from what I heard, it was a solid match.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Up next, Hikaru Shida defeated Penelope Ford to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. Match. Hikaru Shida. This is her first reign as the AEW Women's World Champion, so Tony Khan, let her enjoy her reign. Okay, Josh.
So I really enjoyed the match. Like I said, I'm a huge Hikaru Shida fan. She's one of the best talent on the women's roster currently. And now, AEW doesn't have that many women's competitors, but I feel like she is the future of this women's division. She's fantastic talent, number one. She worked her ass off to get to the top to become the women's champion. And the match overall was solid. I kind of was hoping that Penelope Ford would pick up the win because I followed her throughout the indie scene. But it's time for Shida to rise on top of the women's division, and I feel like she could hold the title as long as she wants and then lose it to somebody who is young and upcoming in the wrestling business. But overall, the match was fantastic. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Awesome. Kyle.
So glad to hear that one of my personal favorites on the women's division, Hikaru Shida, retained the NXT Women's title. You know, I feel it's her time, so give her a nice long reign with the belt.
You said NXT. Hold
Oh
up.
shit! My bad.
Whoa. Okay, buddy.
Sorry, my mind's all fucked up.
It's alright. You good. You good.
Yeah, one of my favorites in the women's division, Hikaru Shida retained, which I was so glad that she retained. It's her time. Give her a long reign as the champion.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, my man.
Of course.
Alrighty, up next, Cody defeated Jake Hager to retain the AEW TNT Championship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jake Hager win the title.
I'll start with Kyle for this one.
Anyways, glad that Cody retained, and I think obviously because Jake was suspended, so I think that was probably a way of writing him off TV by having him lose against Cody for the championship. And plus, I thought it was too early to put the title on him, so I'm glad to see that Cody retained.
Yep. All right. Well, how I felt that match, Cody retained his title, which was pretty good, and Jake Hager, I'm sure he'll get another title shot in the future, but for now, let's all enjoy Cody's reign.
Agreed.
Yes. Joshy boy, go.
All right. So I personally enjoyed this match. Like Kyle said earlier, Jake Hager was suspended for putting his hands on an AEW official. I saw the turning point of the match where Hager rolled Cody up, and then Cody somehow used his mind, used a slick roll up to retain the title. Jake thought he kind of won the title. He thought, "Oh, I'm the champion now."
So classic heel move, because heels do that all the time.
So then Jake thinks he wins the title, and then he puts his hands on an official, and I kind of knew that was going to be a suspension coming after that assault, but so overall the match was great. Back and forth action, left to right, front and center. Yeah, like you said, it's too early to put the title on Jake, and I feel like Jake is a very, very he's very well skilled. He's a very great performer in the ring, but it's time for Cody to shine on top. And even though he is the executive vice president of AEW, well, one of them, I feel like he should shine on top no matter what. So,
yep.
I'm glad he retained. So, overall match was great.
All right. Up next, Private Party defeated the Inner Circle, which was Santana and Ortiz, Proud and Powerful.
Yes, sir. My boys won.
Overall, great match. Private Party wins. Excellent. Kyle.
I was very surprised that they won this, because usually, Inner Circle is pretty much dominating AEW right now. So I thought they were going to win this one, but I was happy to see Private Party win. So that was definitely a neat twist.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so hopefully that they have something planned for them. Maybe the tag team titles at some point. Maybe
like they're future tag team champions, man.
Yeah, and this could get him in the hunt for the title, because obviously they beat pretty much the top faction in the company right now.
Right.
Yeah, so it's clear they have big things planned for them, and I hope these plans do come to come to be.
Right. All right, Josh, go.
Okay, so my boys won. They're basically my favorite tag team going right now, besides the Inner Circle. I'm really happy for them because I want them to become the AEW Tag Team Champions so badly.
Same here.
Because I follow them. They're from my neck of the woods. They're from New York. They were born in Brooklyn. I seen them on the indie scene. They're one of the best tag teams out there. And when AEW signed them, I was like, they're going to be future tag champions one day. And I just see it. I actually met both of them, both Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, at the last Hog show I went to before the pandemic. It was a really great honor to meet them because they are one of the top tag teams in AEW. And I hope for the best of them. With Matt Hardy by their side, they look like they're going to get a push, especially with the new theme song, new attitude. I cannot wait to see them become tag champions because Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, your time is up because you pissed me off at the main event we're going to get into in just a minute.
Oh.
Because
I can't wait to hear this.
Okay. Adam Page and Kenny Omega defeated Best Friends to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Well, I'm gonna start with Josh because I know you can tell in this mood he's pissed.
Yeah, you can tell he's furious.
Okay.
Josh, I'll let you start.
Okay. Put the training gear. Let's go on a little road trip. Alrighty. What was that? I thought best friends were gonna take the titles, but you want to put the executive vice president and the cowboy as your champions for another month? Okay, I like both of them. I like Kenny Omega.
Yeah, me
Kenny
too.
Omega is one of the best out there in the wrestling business. Hangman Page too, but they had it for long enough. Like, what are you gonna make them hold it for 500 days, 600 days, 700 days, 800 days? What are you gonna make a 100-day reign? Okay, but I was kind of hoping for Best Friends to win because they have been on a roll lately. They're one of the top tag teams in the division, but the match itself was back and forth. I absolutely enjoyed it. And as the outcome goes, I mean, I kind of get there. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page are trying to be the best tag team up there right now, but I was kind of disappointed how it ended. But overall, it was a great match. I kind of let all my fear, emotions, and anger out, but it's okay. They're going to lose it to Private Party next week at Fyter Fest Night 2, so you better
We'll
watch
see.
it.
We'll see.
Yeah, but just
Yeah.
before we get into everybody else, the card has changed for Fyter Fest Night 2 because they moved one match to the next pay-per-view.
Which happens to be Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my take on that match, enjoyable match. The wrong people won. Overall, the match was back and forth. Match pacing was pretty good. Enjoyable match. The match was good itself. The Best Friends could have won the tag team titles because it's their time. It's their time.
Agreed.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that Best Friends, they should have won the titles. But Kenny and Adam, they had it long enough. And plus, I'm a fan of both teams, so I'm kind of fine with Kenny and Adam winning. But like I said, hopefully they drop the titles at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
And from the highlights I saw, it was a very good match.
Yeah, from my perspective, I respect both guys. I've been a fan of both guys since New Japan, Ring of Honor, etc.
Yeah, I've always loved Kenny Omega since his New Japan days.
Yeah, and I mean, at the outcome, I know they're trying to give Cody and Kenny and the Young Bucks the big moments because they're like the faces of the company.
Yeah, they're pretty much the established stars, so everybody knows their names. So obviously they want to put them front and center. Which another thing about Kenny, I think they should split him away from the tag division, and make him like a single star, because I think he's better off as a single star.
Right? Yeah, he's better off.
Put him in the picture as TNT champion or the AEW champion at some point.
Yeah.
That's what I think he should be, because he has that potential. Because we saw him like that on the Indies and New Japan.
Yeah, he was the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he was no matter what. If you watch New Japan, he was a big name, no matter what.
Yeah, and he put on classic matches, so he's capable of performing at that level as like a top star. So
yeah,
take him away from that tag team.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, drop the titles, bring him into a single star, and make him a top guy.
But before we get into the Night 2 matches and what we think about them, who do you think would be the next future AEW World Tag Team Champions after Kenny Omega and Hangman Page drop the titles? I mean, who would you like to see?
Private Party or Best Friends. Or the Inner Circle.
Few teams I like to see, well, of course, you guys said Private Party and the Inner Circle. I like to see Best Friends, of course. I like to see maybe SCU for one reign. Maybe the Lucha Brothers. Butcher and Blade, FTR. I like to see all the tag teams up and coming. Maybe make some new tag teams in AEW and try to work their way up. So I feel like I'm seeing Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela becoming a tag team because they're really good friends outside of the ring. So Joey Janela, I mean, he's not doing anything as of now, but I feel like he could be in the tag team division with Sonny Kiss and they could be tag team champions. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, isn't it?
I'm fine with all the picks, and as much as I'm gonna hate to say this, but I could see these guys becoming tag team champions at some point. And you guys know how much I hate this damn tag team with a freaking passion. You know who I'm talking about, Josh?
Yes, FTR.
That's right.
Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood.
Yeah, I could see them becoming tag champs at some point. I mean, not right now, but in the future.
Yeah.
As much as I can't stand those guys. And just to clarify, because I know people are probably gonna, rip my balls out because of this. They're good talents, and I love their finisher, but I don't get the hype behind them.
Oh,
Especially their characters. Like I see it as boring. Like they kind of bore me when I see them.
yeah.
Like I said, they're good talents, and I love their finisher. Like it's probably one of my favorite tag team finishers. Period.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Fyter Fest Week 1 recap. Stay tuned for next week when we recap Week 2 of Fyter Fest and talk about our predictions for a Fight for the Fallen. Stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for next week when we interview the one and only Muscle Man Malcolm.
Yes, guys, our first episode of Crash and Burn Behind the Ring. It's going to be an interview series where we interview professional wrestlers from the indie scene, YouTubers, etc. So if you have any guests that you would like to have in mind, come on to Behind the Ring for an interview. Drop the comments down below when this video is uploaded.
All right, and yes, our first guest, the greatest wrestling YouTuber alive, Muscle Man Malcolm.
Hey.
And a big shout out goes to him. Be sure to follow him and check out his YouTube channel.
Yeah, subscribe to Muscle Man Malcolm. Or wait. Let me pause myself here. Subscribe to Muscle Man Malcolm.
I meant to say subscribe.
Nice.
So,
okay, Josh. You go ahead and take over.
All right. So, as you all know, if you guys have watched Fyter Fest Night 1, the card has changed. Because they moved the match that was the headliner of Night 2, which was Jon Moxley and Brian Cage with Taz for the AEW World Title. They moved that to the next show, Fight for the Fallen. Stay tuned for our prediction show. But here are the matches now, the updated card for Night 2 of Fyter Fest. I cannot wait for some of these matches, so I'm going to run down the card here just very quick because they updated some matches. Some of the matches are the same, like we heard on Dynamite before Fyter Fest Night 1, so this match changed a little bit. The only match that changed was the main event. It was Kenny Omega and Hangman Page putting the tag titles on the line against Private Party. My boys, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. And Matt Hardy is in Private Party's corner once again. So if I had to choose, that's an easy question, boys. We're going to have some shots tonight because the music's going to go up. Turn that shit up because Private Party's going to win the titles right there.
Yeah, I'm going with Private Party as well.
Yeah, I'm going with them too.
See, everybody's going with my boys, the Private Party.
Yeah, so all three of us, our official pick is Private Party.
Right.
Yes, sir.
To get the victory and become the new AEW Tag Team Champions.
So, I want everybody's honest opinion on this. What do you guys think of Matt Hardy in AEW? Like, what do you think? Is his character getting better, or what do you think how he's doing in AEW? Do you think he's more better as a manager, or is he better as an in-ring star?
In-ring. I would say in-ring star.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like that.
wrestler.
Yeah, always. I mean, I've been a fan of the Hardys since day one. I mean, I love both guys.
Yeah, me too.
Especially Jeff.
It's their days in WWE.
I mean, especially Jeff. I mean, you can't love Jeff Hardy. You gotta love Jeff Hardy. Come on.
Exactly. How can you not love Jeff?
I mean, Matt.
No matter what.
I respect Matt. Matt is a fantastic wrestler, but Matt, you're gonna kind of hate me for this, but your brother's a little bit better. But you guys are both in the same category. You guys are both. Great.
Yeah, but I like Matt's character better. Like I love the
Yeah.
broken universe he created.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am definitely a broken warrior.
Yeah, and I like the things that they're allowing him to do in AEW that WWE wouldn't allow him to do.
Yeah. In AEW, they give you a little bit more creative freedom with your character, especially if it's a character that you created.
Yeah, especially Matt.
Whereas in WWE, they watered down the character, and you had to do what they did. So that's why the character wasn't able to be basically what it was in TNA when Matt was there, because he had to basically listen to Vince and then the writers and everything, whereas in TNA he had like full control over it.
Right. And then like Matt Hardy, I like they're allowing him to basically take all three of his characters, combining them together into different storylines.
Yeah, I love that.
So like you have the
genius.
version 1, Broken, the regular Matt Hardy character.
Yeah.
So I like how they're combining them all together. And
so it's a little something. So it's a little something for every Hardy Boy fan, like ever, like regardless of when you grew up with Matt, whether you grew up with them in the Attitude Era, when they were Team Extreme or V1, or the late 2000s, like I did. and of course the the broken character.
Yeah, definitely the broken
Yeah.
character is my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, just don't put your fingers in your mouth like they did back in the day. They were like, I hated that. Don't do that.
Don't do that, guys.
and by the way, if you guys follow Matt Hardy on Instagram, Matt Hardy did an old photo shoot as one of his old characters. I think it was Surge or High Voltage, I believe. If you guys don't know Matt Hardy, before he was Matt Hardy, he was known as Wolverine, Surge, and High Voltage, and Damascus.
Yeah,
Damascus.
he played many different characters.
Yeah, just like Jeff did. But let's not waste any more time. Let's head into our favorite segment of the week, where we share what's going on in the wrestling world, and that is wrestling news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another segment. So basically, what we do on this segment of
by Josh.
Yeah. So on this segment, what we do is we basically talk about what's going on in the wrestling world, basically what's going on and stuff, and basically state our opinion on this. But I'm gonna start it off basically because this is the latest thing going.
Yeah,
And
I have a couple which I'll discuss later on. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. So
Go ahead,
one thing that I just got updated is the spoiler to the NXT Great American Bash Winner Take All match, and I was very, very annoyed and very furious by this.
Yeah.
Because basically, my favorite wrestler of all time, Edge, when he returned, he didn't want to. He's like, "Oh, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. Don't get the hype up." Edge basically
Yeah,
is
Hardy
saying,
Boy. Yeah, the Hardy Boys did the exact same thing in 2017. They're like, no,
Exactly.
we got contract with Ring of Honor until like 2018, whereas in reality they were going to return at WrestleMania like 24 hours later. So they tried to keep it hidden. But
Yeah,
that's
but
why I hate about
secret.
that's why I hate about the internet. Everything like everybody like everything's spoiled. Like nothing's a secret anymore.
right.
Whereas when I was a kid, everything was a secret. Like you were always genuinely surprised.
Right.
Like, it was like, oh my God, Jeff Hardy was spotted backstage. No, it was a genuine surprise when he came back to WWE back in 06.
Yeah. So like,
Nothing's
the
a
thing
secret anymore.
is, yeah. So the thing is that basically they spoiled it now. Everybody's probably gonna know this, but it wasn't somebody from WWE who spoiled it. Well, actually, it's for somebody who's an NXT
Yeah,
superstar.
it was from the NXT tag team division. It was
Yeah,
it was somebody
sure.
from it was somebody from that tag team. They spoiled it.
And referees were
and I saw the
furious.
picture, but it was very blurry. But if you look closely, you can obviously see who was the winner of that match.
Yeah, we don't want to
Yeah.
give any spoilers away. We don't want to piss
I'm not
off
gonna-
any
we're not gonna do
fans.
that.
Yeah, you're not going to spoil it for you
Stay
until
tuned for next NXT.
yeah, we're not going to spoil. Yeah, we're not going to spoil it until it actually airs. But all I'm going to say is I'm very happy with the result. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to
Yeah.
share was this is a very, very sad thing. You guys all know about Shad Gaspard and what happened this past year.
Yes.
Shad
Yeah.
Gaspard passed away in a Johnny accident, but he passed away a hero because he saved his son, and
Yeah.
he didn't die
Much
very
respect.
tragically. Much respect to Shad.
Exactly.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace.
So, the autopsy report was revealed of Shad Gaspard. I have it right here on my laptop, and it's a whole article. If you guys want to check it out, it's on WrestlingInc.com. It says Shad Gaspard's official autopsy report revealed, and it's he basically drowned, and I think he like inhaled too much water.
Yeah.
Basically, so we send out our condolences here at the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast to Shad's family during this difficult time. So if we want to have a moment of silence for Shad Gaspard here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, anything else you guys want to share? Kyle, if you want to share something.
I have a couple. Well, unfortunately, because of her injury, thanks to Nia Jax, unfortunately, the Pirate Princess, due to injury, the Pirate Princess Kairi Sane is about to pretty much retire from the ring. And according to this article here, this article I have right here, it says Kairi Sane reportedly receiving new non-wrestling role in WWE. So, what do you think that role is going to be? Do you think it's going to be like a producer or a trainer, possibly?
I like to see her as a trainer.
Well, probably a manager.
Yeah, I could see her being like a valet for Asuka. You'll keep the Kabuki Warriors together.
Nia Jax, fuck you. Learn how to wrestle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Don't get me started.
Learn how to wrestle.
Yeah, according to this article, it says that she would be an ambassador for WWE in Japan. So she would be like an ambassador for the Japan part of WWE. But basically like the marketing over there. That's what she would be doing, and I could see her doing that because obviously she knows Japan very well because she wrestled in Japan for years.
Right, and she's from there.
Yeah.
And also as a bonus to this, like I said, I saw the other thing where she's already making plans to retire from WWE, which obviously brings us to that ambassador thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thoughts on her retiring?
I would have hoped for the better for her when she came into the main roster.
Yeah, me too. She had so much potential. She was such a big star in NXT, and they completely just wasted her on the main roster.
I got her figure right here. Luckily, got her only Mattel figure ever made.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I have mine on my shelf.
And everyone, subscribe to their YouTube channels.
You know the vibes, man.
Yeah, both of us did reviews. Both of us did reviews
down below in the description.
Yeah, both of us did. Yeah, both of us did reviews of her action figure, and we absolutely love that figure. So thank God we got at least one action figure for our collections.
We cooking up the pot, man. We cooking up the pot with these reviews, man.
All right.
And the last thing I want to share. This is a big one. If you saw from a previous episode, I mentioned how WWE was saying that you're not a fan if you're wearing a mask to the performance center and everything, and they force you to take it off. Well, there's an update on that because of the recent outbreak of positive diagnosis of the virus with talent at WWE, more specifically the Performance Center. Now they are handing out huge fines if you are caught not, I repeat, not wearing a mask at the Performance Center, which means they are forcing you to wear a mask now because of these positive, results.
Yeah, because of
God for that.
All I have to say, they should have made them wear a mask in the first place.
Exactly.
When they started airing shows at the Performance Center. Or when they start having some wrestlers in the crowd.
Yeah. It says for your first violation, you are fined $500.
Whoa.
Any violation after that, it's $1,000 per violation.
Wow. A drink right there.
Yeah, so I agree though. They need to be taking this more seriously. I'm glad they're starting to after these cases.
AEW is handling the pandemic pretty well, though.
Yeah,
they're taking it a lot more seriously than WWE is, and thank God for that.
I have something I want to share. This is kind of interesting. I just kind of found this out just a little bit ago. So, who remembers Connor and Victor, The Ascension? Raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand here. All right. So, The Ascension, as you all know, got released by WWE. For everybody watching this episode on the YouTube land.
I don't care because they never did shit.
I personally enjoyed this tag team. I love both guys. Not really since their NXT days. When they came into the main roster, I'm like, wow, these guys are freaking awesome.
I like the gimmick, but they weren't really that good in the ring, especially Connor.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, probably one of my top favorite tag team finishers of all time has to go to their finisher, the Fall of Man. I love that move.
Yeah, so...
But there was another tag team who did that move, and I think they did it a tad bit better. I think it was the Head Shrinkers. I don't know. I can't remember. There was one other tag team that did that move, but they had a different name for it.
All right. So the Ascension is no longer the Ascension anymore. They're now under different names. So it says in a recent interview with WrestleZone, Big Con and Vic, which is Connor and Victor, if you're wondering, formerly known as Connor and Victor, they're now going with a new tag team name. They're going to not be the Ascension anymore on the indie scene. They're going to be The Awakening.
Oh, are they going to be doing the same gimmick?
Interesting.
I believe the gimmick's still staying the same. They kind of changed their appearance since they got released. So he said it's the next step up. So Connor was saying it's the next step up since being released. So
yeah.
But if they weren't on the indie scene, what company would you like to see The Awakening in?
AEW.
I could probably see them going to AEW. I think they could use a character like that, but I could also see them going to But because of their makeup, they kind of look like kabuki. So I would say possibly New Japan.
Yeah, I like to see them in the Japan world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and another thing I wanted to share was, if you guys don't know, Evolve was purchased by WWE. If you guys don't know, Evolve was a big company in my neck of the woods of New York and stuff like that. It was a big company with lots of upcoming talent and
huge.
on
And
the
you've been to a couple shows too.
only one. I've only been to one Evolve show.
Oh,
The-
no.
I thought you went to like 2 or 3.
No, I went to one, just the last one before the pandemic started.
But wasn't there one that you're supposed to go to but ended up didn't go into?
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing is that if you want to know some of the people that came over there, one of them is actually a good friend of one of my really good friends, Alex. Shout out to you, Alex. His good friend came over from over there, and that is Mr. All Day Austin Theory. My friend is like the biggest Austin Theory fan you could imagine. I mean, I respect.
No surprise there. He's a good talent.
He's great talent. That's where he came from. That's where he was built up from. They had basically what the company did. They partnered with NXT, slash WWE, and they brought for autograph signings, they brought the NXT talent. So you had such guys to me as Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Gargano, Cole, such big names you see on TV. So now Evolve is in the garbage, and it was bought out by WWE. So now WWE is probably going to take all the Evolve talent to the Performance Center and build them up. So what do you guys think of this?
No surprise, because WWE, they always try to buy like every company possible, especially if it's competition for them. Because that's what happened in the '90s when they bought all the territories. Like like I think it was like NWA, AWA, WCW. Yeah, ECW, when they bought out all the other companies. Yeah, because WWE, they want to be like the main company. So I'm not surprised that they did that. If it's any type of competition with them, they want to shut it down immediately.
Right.
Because that's exactly what they did with WCW. Like the second that company went bankrupt, and same thing with ECW. Like the second those two companies went bankrupt, bought everything.
Another thing of news I would like to share.
Yes, you give me some money off the name.
Vince, get out of the podcast.
Which speaking of that, they actually trademarked WCW, because so it looks like they have plans to sell products with that logo very soon in the future.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to share was EC3. If you guys follow me on Twitter,
1%.
if you guys follow me on Twitter at Josh's Toy Show 4Y.
Top 1% of jobbers.
Vince, get out of the podcast. You're not invited.
So, I'm allowed to be here. I'm the boss of all you.
Vince. Okay.
And as I was saying, I posted something on Twitter. EC3 put out a video where we all thought, oh, he's gonna go back to Impact Wrestling and become the world champion. Oh, so amazing, right? No. Apparently, in the video, he was saying there can't be no Omega without an Alpha, which refers to Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing before AEW had their TV deal and all that big shit they had. So he was saying he was saying in this video that he was cutting, he was saying there's no Alpha or without Omega, there's no Nightmare without something. I don't know. He was saying a whole bunch of weird shit. And then right as the promo was done, the AEW logo comes behind him. So you could tell that's a kind of a spoiler. He's going to sign with AEW. Because it's been rumored for months ever since he left WWE. So do you guys think
I saw it coming he was going to leave WWE.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, especially after he lost to Dean Ambrose in his second match ever on the main roster.
No. You mean Jon Moxley?
Yeah, I know. When Moxley was still in WWE as Dean Ambrose, it was kind of like a mini feud. When EC3 first came up to the main roster, he fought Moxley, aka Ambrose, in his first match, beat him in an upset, and then loses in the rematch. And then just like that, he became the king of catering.
Yeah,
better. So I'm glad to see him go to AEW, and hopefully he becomes a big star like he was in TNA, because I honestly like EC3. You know, he definitely had potential. So if he does go to AEW, best of luck to him.
I I got something to run down that I actually am very pissed of, and
I got one more thing too, but you can go first.
I am very pissed off at this. Vince McMahon will take me all of my aggression to strangle you and make me take over WWE. I feel like I have to say this. So, Vince McMahon reportedly pulls Shayna Baszler from WWE TV. Now, hold the fuck up. What the fuck? Okay. What the fuck is this?
You're a fucking asshole.
Vince, look here, man. If you're watching this, Vince McMahon, calling you out.
As a matter of fact, he's on our freaking stream right now.
Oh, really? Oh, you want to call me out?
Nah, Vince. But here's the thing. Let me say what I want to say. Shayna Baszler, she's fantastic talent. One of the best talent in the world out there right now. It was not the smartest move to call her up to the main roster. It was not the smartest move yet.
No,
she could have
for business.
She could have lost the NXT Women's title, could have stayed in NXT as a big star, and then after a couple months saying, we'll make her a big star, maybe have her win the women's title. But that never happened. So
and also there's actually one thing that I would probably add to that too. About Shayna Baszler losing her opportunity at the championship at WrestleMania. Apparently Becky Lynch actually fought the writers to get them to have Shayna Baszler win, but they turned it down. So when that happens, you know that they did not have any plans for her. Like Becky kept saying, it's her time, put the title on her. I have no issue dropping the title to Shayna. Just put the title on her, give her a run. And they kept saying, no. Especially Vince. Like, no. No, we're not giving the title to her.
He's like, F this, you're keeping the title, you're gonna be the longest.
So all I gotta say is kudos to Becky for doing that, because she knew that there was potential with Shayna. Like, she could have became like a big star.
Yeah, and since Becky left the company due to her pregnancy, she knows what good talent really is. She knows what the future is. She knows what the future of this business holds. And for people that say, oh, Shayna Baszler deserves better, you're absolutely correct. Because you have all this talent from NXT. You have guys like in NXT right now who are putting on a 5-star classic, who are putting on great matches. Guys like Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole. You have guys like Drake Maverick, who is up and coming in the company right now. You have the Undisputed Era.
Which Drake has definitely impressed me. I didn't like him at first, but after seeing his matches in NXT, he's definitely impressed me. So now I'm officially a Drake Maverick fan.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have such guys that are actually looking like, wow, this is the future. But Vince, on the other hand, thinks, no. The future is Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair. That's it.
He sees like most of the people in NXT. He sees most of them as the future. I was like, yeah, the future is now, but more like the future of not the future of Raw or SmackDown, the future of catering. Because think about it. Most of the people they bring up to the main roster usually go to catering. They're usually not on TV. For example, like Tyler Breeze and Finn Balor for a while. And I think, obviously EC3, Sanity.
Yes. Okay. Don't get me started with Sanity.
Yeah. Don't get me started with that. Oh, the Ascension, Hideo Itami, Apollo Crews for a while, Kalisto, like all these great talents.
Yeah.
Wasted talent.
Oh, No Way Jose, Austin Aries.
No way. Jose. No way. Jose.
Oh, yeah.
No Way Jose.
Dance break on the podcast.
Yeah, he was probably like, oh, hey Vince, am I gonna, win a championship or become like a big star on the main roster? No way. Jose. No way. Jose.
Vince. Quiet.
Yeah, and like you said, let's see. What tag team did you mention? Oh, Sanity, right. Yeah, so Sanity comes up to the main roster. You guys don't know, I was a huge fan of Sanity in NXT. Eric Young, Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf.
American Alpha.
Oh, don't get me started. That team was such a joke.
Even the Revival, before they begged them for more money and begged to get the titles, but before they left their contracts.
Yeah.
Because for a while they were jobbing too.
Another thing with Sanity, they brought them up to the main roster like All three of them, they put them in a match.
Hype,
They lose.
Hype Bros is another one too. The Hype Bros.
Hype
Yeah,
Bros.
Especially
Zack Ryder
Mojo
and
Rawley.
Mojo.
Especially Mojo.
And Zack Ryder, which is so sad. But yeah,
Okay.
Jason, you have any news you want to share?
WWE furious at AEW after COVID-19 comments.
Okay.
Yeah. And Chris Jericho says AEW is winning the ratings war.
Not necessarily, because NXT actually beat AEW in the ratings. I think last week they beat them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say AEW is winning the ratings. I mean, they did for the most part, but NXT is starting to pick up steam with these ratings.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jericho, that's not entirely true.
Yeah, because like when AEW first had their TV deal, they want you to compete with NXT to see who's the better show. So
when there's no need for that.
When there's no need for competition, it's not like Raw and SmackDown are on Monday and Tuesday.
But now it's Monday and Friday.
Exactly. So they don't want you to compete which is the better brand, Raw or SmackDown. With AEW and NXT, they want you to compete and see who's better. I could have felt like they could have had AEW on a Thursday night to have like no competition and basically have NXT on its standard Wednesday night. So, I mean, it's okay to compete to see who's better, but it's there's no need for it.
Yeah.
And this may surprise you, but there's actually a show that has better ratings than both of them.
And what would that be?
It's not a show that competes with them on Wednesday, but it's a show that competes with them during the week. And they recently wrapped up their most recent season, but when that show was on the air, it actually had more ratings than AEW and NXT, and that, unfortunately, is one of my guilty pleasure shows, Total Bellas.
Bruh. Why?
I'm serious. I've seen the numbers. They had higher ratings.
I mean, I watched that show maybe once, but like I'm not into that shit at all.
Like let's say if NXT had 600,000 viewers and AEW had 650,000. Total Bellas, they had 800,000 or to 1 million depending on the episode.
Yeah, like I think one episode was where Nikki revealed the gender of her child.
Yeah, that was the highest rated episode of the entire season.
Alrighty, so
I got no more news to share.
Me neither.
So let's go down the injury list. Let's take a look at our fallen wrestlers who have taken the bite to the dust and sitting out with injuries. So one of them, of course, is the main headliner. Of course, is Becky Lynch, but we won't get into full detail. Another one is Britt Baker. She had a partial LCL tear in her knee.
Well, she's still having her hilarious storyline with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, exactly.
But she will be returning at All Out September 5th. Another one is Vince's queen, Charlotte Flair. Yeah, I'm sure Vince is having a shit fit now.
Vince,
she's expected to be back by Survivor Series, but apparently there are plans to wait and have her come back as a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble in 2021.
That will not be a headliner.
I got a better idea. Never come back.
Yeah, she's great talent. She's one of the best talent, but
agreed. Yeah, but seriously, stop shoving her down our throats and giving her so many championships constantly.
Yeah.
What? I'm giving the audience what they want. More Flair.
That's not what we want.
Yes, you
do. Okay.
Vince, why are you taking over Crash and Burn?
Because people all over the world love me.
Vince, get away from the podcast.
Another injury that basically makes me I want to see him come back at some point. He'll be out about at least 8 months, and that is my favorite wrestler of all time, the Rated R superstar Edge. If you guys watch Backlash, Edge suffered a torn triceps during that match. I mean, yeah, he's my favorite of all time, but of course he's gonna get injured once in a while. But yeah, I know I'm gonna cry. He's not on TV, but I wish him the best
But
of luck in
there's
his
someone
recovery.
that always gets injured. The modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. Yes.
Or some people call him Jingle My Balls.
Jingle my balls.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Uso is injured too.
Yes, that explains why the Usos haven't been on TV much lately either. That's why it's mainly Miz
Jay.
Morrison.
Hey,
Why it's mainly Miz Morrison and the New Day.
Another one is, of course, and I don't even know why this is still on notice. Jason Jordan. I mean, like, Jason Jordan is done for life.
Yeah, well, Jason Jordan he's kind of like a producer backstage because there was a moment where it showed us backstage and he was right there in a suit. And plus, he's a dad now, so he basically takes time away so he can be a family man.
Yeah.
Well, which his daughter is
Yeah,
adorable, by the way. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, another one too is Kalisto, of course.
Yeah, but according to Kalisto, he does live streams all the time on Instagram. According to him, he's doing well with his recovery, so he should be back and rejoin the Lucha House Party very soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Another one, I heard Mickie James was injured for a while. She's expected to come back.
There was a report that she is medically cleared.
She was also on main event commentary team with Byron Saxton.
Yeah, a report came out last night that she is officially cleared to get back in the ring, so she's going to start training probably this week. So we could see her back on TV very soon. I don't know what they're going to do with her because they weren't doing anything with her before she got injured, so I don't know what they're going to do with her.
Another one is Lars Sullivan. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but he ain't coming back, in my opinion.
It feels like an eternity. Like, he's been, like, injured for, 2 years?
He suffered a knee injury in 2019. He's been out of action for 6 to 9 months.
It feels like forever.
Yeah, because he should have been back already. Yeah, but like,
part of that is therapy for the anxiety issues, so they want to work on that too. But that's why his debut was so delayed for weeks.
Another thing, I don't think he's gonna come back due to the whole controversy when he was doing these certain things.
Yeah, I saw the videos. They were disturbing.
Yeah.
Shit.
And I could not avoid them because they were everywhere. They were all over my newsfeed on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. They were right there. I could not avoid them.
Shit.
And they were kind of disturbing. It was bizarre seeing him like that.
Oof.
Yeah. And then another one is Razor. That's why you haven't seen AOP on TV with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory. Well, Austin Theory hasn't been on TV because of the whole sexual allegations thing, but I want to mention something on the podcast of the released talent that has been storming the news lately. As you all know, some of the NXT UK might be shutting its doors. The brand might be coming to an end because of the low success. But I mean, they have a lot of good talent, but
yeah,
we don't know for sure yet.
All the takeovers were pretty good.
Yeah, and they have a lot of great talent down there, like Walter, Imperium, which are the current NXT Tag Team Champions, with Fabian Aichner, Marcel Bartel. You have Gallus, Mark Andrews. You have Pete Dunne, another fantastic talent.
Pete Dunne.
You have Tony Storm. You have such great talent coming up from the UK.
I love Tony Storm.
Storm.
So there's some people that got released from NXT UK. I think we mentioned Jack Gallagher was released, but they didn't really care. They just didn't even wish him the best in his future endeavors, which they do that with everybody.
Yeah, they left on bad terms, so that's why they didn't mention anything.
Right.
So another one is the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks. He got released due to the sexual allegations thing. And then another one is the guy who wears that bull-looking mask. I don't really know him that well, and that's Ligro. Ligro is a English wrestler. He's from the UK. He was in NXT UK. He was the guy that always came out in that kind of bull-looking mask, and it was shaped like the Union Jack flag of England. He got released as well due to sexual allegations. So I wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. I mean, it sucks to see them go because they had bright futures ahead of them. But what do you got to say about this, guys? I'll go with Kyle to start off.
I am a little disappointed because NXT UK was putting on some great matches and they had great talent with it. Hopefully not every talent gets released. Hopefully they either blend into the normal NXT and hopefully eventually get called up to the main roster.
Just compete on 205 Live.
Yeah, I know one talent for sure that's going to be in the regular NXT, and that is the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, because he did an interview recently with one of me and Josh's favorite personalities on social media, and that's the interview queen Alicia Atout. Pete Dunne recently did an interview with her on her YouTube channel, and he said that he's still under contract, and when he comes back, he will be going back to the regular NXT, and he'll be on there for a little bit, and then hopefully at some point he'll get called up to the main roster, and then possibly work with Matt Riddle again, because he loved working with Matt Riddle in that tag team.
Yeah, and I actually enjoyed them in that tag team.
And I would love to see that happen again. Like, I would like to see that tag team on the main roster.
So, by the way, guys, I just got word from my trusty laptop here that NXT UK was supposed to have another takeover in Dublin, Ireland. They were supposed to do NXT
Dublin.
Yeah, NXT UK
Yeah,
takeover Dublin. But they postponed the show because it was supposed to be at the 3 Arena in Dublin. If you guys don't know, if you guys are watching the podcast from
Back
overseas,
in April, it was supposed to happen there.
Yeah, and some of the storylines will
virus
go.
had to take over our lives.
Right.
I know it sucks, but what can you do?
So, I'm gonna get to NXT UK. I mean, I watched the first, when it first happened. I never really watched NXT UK because it airs so late in the day.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I love the talent down there. I'm a huge fan of the tag team, and they are the current champions down there. That is Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. That is Gallus. They're great talent down there as well.
I loved Imperium.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of my favorite factions. I want to shout out my friend Morgan, all the way from Scotland. She's a huge fan of NXT UK. Another talent that's great down there is, of course, Kaylee Ray, who is the current NXT UK Women's Champion. She's another great talent down there. She's from, I believe, Scotland, And another talent down there as well as Tony Storm and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah, which Tony Storm is my favorite, and I really hope they do something with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, I watched the very first NXT takeover, the UK takeover, which was Pete Dunne, because he was the longest reigning UK champion. Yeah. I actually enjoyed the show. I was like, damn, you have the best of the UK, and you put on stellar matches, and this is what the people want. Like, people in the UK don't get to go to many wrestling shows because they don't cope.
Yeah, because their training down there in the UK is definitely more intense than over here in the States, kind of like Japan is.
I would say they have a performance center there in the UK.
Yeah. That's why the UK and Japan. That's why their wrestling style is much more aggressive, and why their matches are pretty much classics, because the training down there is much more intense.
Yeah.
I mean, all you gotta do is ask Finn Balor. The training that he went through in Japan was very, very intense.
Wow.
And look at him. And look at him. He became one of the best talents in Japan's history, and he got noticed by NXT.
And he was the elite, and he was the one that started one of the very famous factions in Japan that people have loved ever since. I don't know about now. I mean, a lot of people don't like it. And he was the one that founded one of the best talent, the Bullet Club. And I want you to put all your hands up for Too Sweet.
Hey guys, Too Sweet here on the podcast.
Too Sweet.
Too sweet.
So, I want everybody's opinion on the faction in Japan that has been very well known nowadays as the Bullet Club. So, what was everybody's opinion on the Bullet Club? I'll start because, I mean, I am a big fan of the Bullet Club. I love the Bullet Club. I thought it was one of the best factions Japan has ever seen. So many great leaders, and there's so many different eras of the Bullet Club, but in terms of the current lineup, you have such talent out there that I looked up to watching New Japan. The Gorillas of Destiny, God, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, guys that I love that tag team. So actually, I'm surprised that this person who joined the Bullet Club recently, that is Kenta, formerly known as Hideo Itami. He's now part of the Bullet Club now because he's actually originally from Japan,
because he was wasted over here in the States.
Right.
Wow.
Another one that I look up to the most is the leader of the Bullet Club, who the current leader is right now, and that is the Switchblade, Jay White, who turned the Bullet Club into the Cutthroat era. So, I like the the new lineup, I don't know most of the guys. The only original members that are in there right now are the God Gorillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale. But you had guys from WWE in there. You had Adam Cole. You had AJ Styles, Prince Devitt, a.k.a. Finn Balor, the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, Cody. You had Stephen Amell as a member of the Bullet Club. Like, who would have had Stephen Amell? I would.
Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
Yep. You had so many great talent in there in the Bullet Club, and a lot of them actually, and like the Bullet Club shirts, like if you guys look at the merch of the Bullet Club, those were top sellers, especially the Young Bucks and stuff like that when they were
Very
part of
top
and
sellers.
Their shirts are lit.
Yeah, every person I know who's a wrestling fan had a Bullet Club shirt no matter what, because everyone I think loves the logo.
Because they are.
Yeah, they were hot sellers, especially here in the States, because I know my local Hot Topic got some of those in stock, and they sold like hotcakes.
And this Too Sweet is to everyone that's watching this.
Or wait, the Cutthroat Era one is this way.
Oh.
They do this in the Cutthroat Era version. Yeah, Too Sweet. They don't do this. They do it backwards. So they go like this. So it's kind of like a knife, sort of.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it looks like a knife.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and Bullet Club's merch was sold like hotcakes. I have tons of Bullet Club merchandise. I have a Bullet Club jacket, Bullet Club shirts. I mean, the faction itself, from what it became, it's one of the famous factions in Japan, and I respect that very much. And another thing I want to mention about the Bullet Club, they actually know what great talent actually really means. If you're in the Bullet Club, you're an elite athlete. Like
you're pretty much the best of the best if you're in that, or if you're in the Bullet Club.
And what a lot of people don't know is about Tongaloa. If you guys don't remember, he was actually in WWE, and he was known as Hunico's little boyfriend, I could say.
Camacho.
That was Camacho, and like I'm like, that's Camacho, and I didn't even know that was Camacho until.
Me neither. I was like, that's Camacho.
Yeah, he's actually I think the brother of Tama Tonga. Yeah, he's the brother of Tama Tonga.
I thought him and Hunico were related because they look a lot like twins.
If you guys don't know, one of the best wrestlers out there in Japan, he's one of the father figures of the Bullet Club. He's one of the OGs of the Bullet Club, and that is the good and bad guy, Tama Tonga. He's a fucking badass. If you guys haven't watched Tama Tonga in the ring, he's a fucking badass. And Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, their father is actually one of the most famous father figures in the wrestling business, and that is Haku. So, if you guys are wondering why Haku was their manager, so it's kind of like what the Usos and Rikishi did one time in WWE. That's what they're trying to do. So that's their family, basically. So, they might be related somehow. I don't know. I don't think so, but I want everybody's opinion on Tama Tonga.
I don't know who that person is.
Oh, you might need to watch New Japan, my friends.
Me neither, but I saw a few clips of him, and he's a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Jay White. Jay White is another one. If you guys have followed New Japan, you've seen guys like Jay White, like guys you never even heard of. Because that's how we heard of Kenny Omega. We heard of Kenny Omega because of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Exactly.
So, I want to get a little bit of Impact Wrestling in here. So.
Oh, I don't watch that.
I haven't watched that in 7 years.
No, I stopped watching it since 2014, 2015.
Yeah, the only time I know what's going on is if somebody got signed or if there's like a big moment from the show that is like all over social media.
I'll watch it.
Can we preview SmackDown?
All right. I'm down. Who's down to preview SmackDown? I'm down.
I'm gonna take over this. I got the card up first.
All right.
All right, go ahead, dude.
Okay, so SmackDown is tonight at 7 Central, only on Fox. So tonight's episode is gonna feature Sheamus ready to raise a glass to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, apparently he's gonna be doing like a celebration.
Some type of toast segment.
Yeah, I don't know about this, but we should see how it goes, man.
Matt Riddle steps in the ring for exclusive interview with Mr. Oh My.
Oh, you mean Mr. Oh My, Michael Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince's favorite.
Yeah. Vince's boyfriend commentator. And then AJ Styles and Drew Gulak set for Intercontinental Championship clash.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this. It's gonna be.
Let's do a little predictions part for this match. Kyle, who are you going for?
I'm going with AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, Josh.
AJ Styles. I feel like Drew Gulak's not gonna win no matter what.
Yeah, he's not gonna win it.
Well, knowing Vince, he's gonna let Styles win and make Drew Gulak a jobber.
Yeah, and Drew Gulak. Welcome to
Catering.
A dumpster.
Dumpster duty. I gotta take out the trash.
Oh, brother.
Oh, Vince took over this episode today.
They always gotta have a little fun.
Yeah, well, the fans
Yeah.
love me.
Another thing I want to preview for any action figure guys out here. I mean, we never really talk about the WWE merchandise out on here. I mean, we did in the last episode of the podcast because we talked about the Undertaker's retirement. If you guys haven't seen last week's episode,
we had a virtual table for 3 segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how about we change the topic up and let's do Table for 3 Crash and Burn edition.
Yes. We always
Alright.
gonna have some fun here, guys.
So,
Awesome.
today we're gonna discuss our favorite moments in professional wrestling history.
Yeah, let's go.
Some of our favorite matches of all time and some of our favorite wrestlers of all time. So we're going to give you guys a little get to know us thing. This is the Crash and Burn Table for 3. So I'm going to head off first. So one of my favorite matches of all time was just actually from NXT. It's a takeover match from Takeover, I believe. It was Takeover Brooklyn. It was Beast in the East. It was Beast in the East. Finn Balor when he won the NXT title.
Yeah, that's a great match. I have that match on DVD. Classic match.
So that's one of my favorite matches of all time. Another one, I wasn't really born yet during this time. I watched the match back on the network, and it really was a 5-star classic. And it's from WrestleMania 10, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title. What a 5-star classic that was.
Yeah,
And
one more for the bad guy.
yeah. Another one, I actually enjoy this match. It's a match of my second favorite wrestler of all time, which is Triple H. Triple H is my second favorite wrestler of all time because I love him
Also
as
known as Vince's doofus son-in-law.
Yeah.
Another match of Triple H is I absolutely love. I love when he makes a fucking stellar entrance at WrestleMania every year. He's usually the guy who makes an entrance no matter what. He's like the headliner of entrances every year. Wow, complete silence, man. No one has no words on Triple H as like the headliner of WrestleMania. My gosh, man.
Triple H, my favorite wrestler.
Well, he does have some fire matches and some fire entrances.
So
His entrances at Mania are the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorites, even though it was cheesy as hell, I loved this entrance. WrestleMania 31, where he paid homage to the Terminator.
yes,
And he had all the endoskeletons, on the stage with him, and his entrance gear. It was a combination of the skull theme that he does, and also a combination of the Terminator. Like he had the robotic arms attached to him. Like it was badass. And I'm so glad they made an action figure of that, which I have it in my personal collection, and it's a fire attire and fire action figure.
So yeah, I want everybody's favorite entrances on Triple H. I know Kyle just said Triple H. When he came out of WrestleMania 31 as the Terminator.
That's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite, but it's one of them.
So what's your top favorite? I'm gonna let you go first, cause
My favorite is definitely WrestleMania 22, where he paid homage to King Conan. When he faced off against John Cena for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 22 in 2006.
One
It wasn't too over the top, and it was badass, but it wasn't so over the top like the Terminator was.
right.
All right, Jason, go ahead.
My favorite Triple H entrance, Mania 34, when he had all those bicycles come out, and
yeah, that was cool.
And Mania 35, he had a pretty cool entrance there too, and Mania 32 and 33.
Yeah.
I hardly remember his entrance from 35.
It was a motorcycle. He came out on a bike.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
And,
over at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, and even his opponent had an over-the-top entrance too. Batista, he came out in a limo.
Yeah, because he's an actor. Come on now. Come on now, Dave. Come on. But I mean, shout out to Batista, one of my childhood heroes right there.
All right. Anyways,
my favorite WrestleMania entrance of Triple H's, man, there's a lot of great ones. One of them is from WrestleMania 30. That was, and they made a nice figure on that one as well. I liked this past year at WrestleMania where he came in on the bike, as well as 34. One of them was, I think, WrestleMania 33, where he came out in that big chopper car.
yes.
Another one, I know it's not Triple H, but it was Seth Rollins' entrance that really took over the night.
Yeah, with that giant torch, which again I have a figure of that, which looks fire. Yeah, with the gold outfit and the torch.
Fire.
Yeah, Triple H always knows how to make a stellar entrance. And at WrestleMania, I think it was WrestleMania 28, he came out of that like castle thing. Even though he doesn't have the long hair anymore. I mean, I miss Triple H with long hair.
He didn't wear any entrance gear. He just walked through this basic diorama of a giant skull.
Yeah, but another one I like was the WrestleMania 32, where they had, like, when he was the WWE champion, which I didn't get that storyline one bit. I mean, it was still cool to see Triple H
it's just so they can put over Roman Reigns and have him win the title in front of 100,000 people. Even though he got booed out of the building, and that actually made his daughter cry because his daughter was celebrating with him in the ring, and the fans were just booing him. And that made his daughter cry because he was being booed. People like, don't boo my daddy.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns is awesome.
I'm like, oh, God bless her.
Yeah, he was able to handle it, you know?
Yeah, so like when he came out of WrestleMania 32 as WWE champion, he had like all those guys as like skeletons, like kind of like his army. And Stephanie McMahon, damn, she looked hot that night. In reality, Stephanie just looks like a casual businesswoman.
True.
But I'm glad they made figures of both of them, and yeah, that's one of my favorite Triple H entrances. But 750.
It's all about the game,
and you know how to play it. It's all about controlling if you can take it, man. And there's so many iconic moments in the career of the game, and we just celebrated his 25th anniversary not too long ago.
Back in April.
Yep.
Yeah, 25 years of the game. By the way, WrestleMania 35 was the entrance based on the movie and video game Mad Max.
Yeah, I knew that looked familiar.
So, and you have the figure based off of it too.
Yes, I do. It's right here in my arena setup.
Yeah. Outros?
Yeah, let's go.
Alrighty.
All right.
Josh, I'll let you go first.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed it as much as every single episode you guys have seen. Make sure you guys follow us on the socials. Make sure you follow the podcast on Instagram at Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Crash and Burn Pod for all podcast news, updates, and when an episode will be dropped. You guys can if you guys are new to the podcast and you guys are just checking us out for the first time, you guys can explore our first 6 episodes on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. We're on almost every podcast platform, but if you guys are new, check out the first 6 episodes first so you know what's going on.
Yes.
Mainly, we're just doing Skype episodes because it's easier for us in terms of recording.
Yeah, and just uploading it. It's a lot easier that way.
Yeah. So, yeah, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Link will be in the description. Follow the members on the social medias as well. Follow me on Instagram at Josh's Toy Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh's Toy Show 4Y. You can follow my new Instagram page. I do a lot of edits now, so if you guys want to check out some of my edits.
And you're forgetting something, Twitch.
Yeah,
yes.
and his edits are fantastic, because I follow the page.
Yeah. So, yeah, and follow me on Twitch. I stream on Twitch as well. I'm also a very, very funny Twitch streamer sometimes when a game goes wrong, but you guys can always have fun. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, join the Cutthroat, let the enemies hit the floor when the stream hits live. Follow me on Twitch, boys. Josh's Toy Show NYC. Do it.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at WrestlingPank15, and we would like to shout out our fellow podcast known as the Tuck Your Chin Podcast.
Yes, sir. So, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the Tuck Your Chin Podcast, and make sure you guys check out their other podcasts. Well, it's a side.
We have a
podcast.
close friendship with them, and
Yeah, we had
our
our differences with them, but we made up with them, and we're looking forward to doing possibly a collaboration with them. Like you might see members of that podcast on our podcast at some point, and vice versa. So be on the lookout for that in the future.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. They just launched their merch.
Yes,
so make sure you guys.
So their channel and the merch store will be in the description down below. Also, shout out to the Mosh Cast, which the owner of that Tucker Chip podcast, Mike, runs that podcast too.
Yeah, and also guys, hold your respects, hold your applause. Make sure you check out the King of the Hour, King VinnyD's merchandise in the description below. Let's all pay our respects to the greatest King of the Hour, Mr. King VinnyD.
Who's also a member of the Tuck Your Chin podcast. So everyone, be sure to tuck your chin.
Yeah, I tucked my chin when I watched that podcast.
Yes, and we'll shout out Mike, so follow him, Mike.shift and MikeShift.spam.
And we like to shout out Julian at Heavy Metal Joker HOH. And Steve, we like to shout out Evan at Ronald Van Donald.
And a personal trainer, James, and his wife, Cassie.
Yeah, shout out to James and Cassie. Definitely, if you're looking for a personal trainer, definitely hit up James in them DMs. You already know what it is, man.
Yes, I'm already doing workouts with him. I've got a good one before we start filming this podcast.
Excellent.
Yes.
My boy, yes, sir.
All right. So, yeah, be sure to follow my Twitter at WrestlingKid16. Also, join our Discord server.
Yes, guys. If you guys have Discord, make sure you guys join our Discord server. We chat with each and every single one of you guys out there. So if you want to check out our Discord server, let me or Jason know, and we'll add you in.
All right, yeah. So stay tuned for next week's episode where we recap Week 2 Fyter Fest and share our predictions for Fight for the Fallen.
Yes, sir. Cannot wait.
We're just here providing you entertainment during quarantine.
Yeah, guys, we're just doing this podcast for quarantine and also to have fun, because this is what the Crash and Burn Wrestling podcast is all about.
We have a bright future ahead of us too.
Yeah, we're all and guys, when you mean bright future, when you mean that coming soon, not just as of yet, we're going to be having some Crash and Burn Wrestling podcast official merchandise
very soon.
Very soon.
That red siren's going to be ringing, so you better, once it hits that store on Bonfire, you better buy it. You better give us that cash paper. You already know what it is, boys. Bring that money in, man.
All right, I'm done with my outro. Kyle, go for it.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching another fire episode of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Keep in touch with us on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Rock and Roll Forever Reviews, as well as my new Instagram page, Shy Shadow 23, which I will be posting videos of me singing some of my favorite rock and roll and heavy metal and pop songs. I just posted one today, so be sure to follow that as well, and stay tuned for more covers, and also stay tuned for more episodes of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Obviously on Spotify, Anchor, and also right here on this YouTube channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload.
And stay tuned for more episodes of the Tuck Your Chin Podcast and the Mosh Cast.
And guys, before we head out, I like to say, Kyle, that song was actually dope.
Thank you.
It was really good.
Yeah, my pipes are a little rusty, so bear with me if you watch that.
Oh.
But I do have a song coming very soon, which I cannot wait to upload my next song.
And before we go, guys, this is a Crash and Burn request from each and every subscriber out there. Comment down below in the comment section once this episode is uploaded to our YouTube channel at Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. What wrestlers, guests, etc. would you like to see on the Crash and Burn interview series Behind the Ring? It's going to be...
And plus anybody.
Anybody, like anybody in general. Who would you like to see? Would you guys like to see stuff from guys from Grimm's Toy Show, GTS Wrestling? Would you guys like to see?
Yeah, anybody you want to see on the podcast? Yeah, anybody you want to see on the wrestling on the podcast? As a guest. But be sure to let us know, and we'll look into it and see if it's possible.
Yes. Crash and Burn Behind the Ring. Our first guest, Muscle Man Malcolm.
Yeah.
You have to stay tuned for that.
And subscribe. And wait. I'm not gonna say subscribe. I'm gonna pause myself here. Subscribe, and I mean subscribe. I mean subscribe. I don't care if you take all fucking night. Subscribe to Muscle Man Malcolm. Do it.
And
'Cause he is the
Yes,
greatest.
do it.
Bird.
Yes. We are Crash and Burn, boys.
Yeah,
The
so,
future
Yeah,
is
I'm-
now.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Too sweet.
Take care, everybody. Peace.
Woo!